Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to Erie Arachnids. I know you guys saw hope you guys saw the unboxing video the other day or yesterday from Arachnids Addicted. I got a kind of a gift here. This is a 8x8x12 Exoterra. I actually have one of these on order too, so I'm going to end up with two of these. So here's my thought. And I'm not really quite sure. I have these, okay, and you can see this is my Terra Subusca. She's pretty much as big as she's going to get. She looks so tiny in this thing, and she really definitely doesn't need this whole entire, large area to live in. So I think we're going to move her into this. It's a little bit more classy. It's glass. We'll be able to get much better pictures. Probably a bit easier to clean than this poop monstrosity that we have here. As you can see, we have the Zoomed Bulgarium there, and that is the home of one of my female Terra Subuscas. No, it isn't. That's the home of my Salmopaeus pulcher female, and then my other one is in there. Now, I like the enclosure that I set up for Salem in the middle there, but I have no access to her whatsoever, and I want to pair her. And if I do pair her and she lays an egg sac in the backside, I'd have to rip apart her enclosure to get to it. So I think we're going to put her in the other one of these. And then what I'll do is I'll use one of these enclosures to move the male into and get it out of that 1 gallon mainstay snap lid container. So that's kind of my plan. So that's the first thing. So I think we're going to move Samira here first into this. We'll get her all set up, and what my plan is to, I have a bunch of this cork board. Of course, this isn't big enough. It's tall enough, but not wide enough. So I have some that I can cut and make my own background, because I don't like, these are really thick. You can see how thick they are. And then you really have to shave the back end of them so that nothing climbs up here like dubia roaches or your tarantula. So you have to shave all the way down to get it flat, and you might as well just make your own out of this stuff, because it's nice and thin. You can, put latex on it, latex caulking, right? You get I have the black or the brown caulking. Just pour it all over it, smooth it out, throw substrate on it, whatever you want to put on there for texture, and then glue it to the back side. Then you can also glue like a cork bark on there or whatever else you want to put on there as far as decoration. So I think that's what we're going to do for that one. So here's my next dilemma. Okay, so this is my next dilemma. Not that it's a bad dilemma, but I got another 12x12x12 enclosure from my brother. He got the cork bark already, so that's going to be the background. The problem is, who do I put in here? And I've been debating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down all the tarantulas that I am considering putting in here, and then I'd like for you guys to give me some input on what you think. Now, I can set this enclosure up any way I want. I have pretty high area here, and I can slope dirt towards the back end. So keep that in mind when you're, saying, hey, I think you should use this one, or I think you should use that one. There's a handful that I'd really, really love to see in here, and I think eventually again, if I had room, I'd have, all of them in these. Even my terrestrials, I think we can get the substrate depth high enough that we don't have to worry about much of anything. So let me start bringing tarantulas down that I'd like to see in here, and then you guys tell me what you think. Okay, so first up, one of the ones that I'd like to possibly see in here, this is the Ephebopus vernus. The problem that I have with this is I have no idea what sex this is, and if it's a male, it would be swimming in that enclosure. So this is one of the drawbacks of choosing this tarantula, but I have a really good idea about setting it up like an embankment on the side of a road. So I think it would be kind of cool to try, but we wouldn't use that background then, because I would want the dirt to go up as high as I possibly can, and we would leave the rest of it open. So it'd kind of be like a big, huge slope with a hole dug down inside that goes way, way back down towards the corner, but kind of in the slope vertically. So the actual hole would go, not vertically, but horizontally back, and then go down vertically from there. So that's one of the tarantulas that I'm considering. Okay, the next one that I would consider, where's my microphone? Way back there. This is Obi, the male Homora. Now, he's kind of special because he was really the first one that I actually ordered and got in for me. So, you know, he's a male. He's still going to get some size to him, a good 6-inch spider. And I think that he would do good in here. He'd be the size of my GBB, who is exactly the size of 6 inches. That's in the other one. Yeah, exactly the size of 6 inches. She's in the other 12 by 12, and she has plenty of room to move around. If I put him in here, it would be set up like, you know, more of a Mexican desert kind of a thing, with a mixture of sand, vermiculite, cocoa fiber, or the Burpee's cocoa core, actually even some topsoil. And then I would like to plant a couple succulents in there, and then use this same hide that he's in, and then dig that down into the corner, and do it that way. So that's another one that I'm considering. Oops, fingers in the way. So the next one, and you can see she's in pre-molt right now, is my Nandu carapoensis. Now they don't get really, really big, so they're basically right around a 5-inch tarantula. So at her full size, she would be a little bit smaller than my GBB. Now she's definitely a female and a very special tarantula to me. So you know, this is one that I actually had at the top of my list because of you know, her size and how big she'll actually get, and she'll be able to stay in there, and that she's a female on top of it all. You know, I was struggling between her and Obi for, you know, for a while last night, and I just couldn't come to a conclusion. So this is kind of why I'm doing this, just to see what everybody else thinks, and we go from there. Okay, next on the list is the Euapolatrus campostratus. This is another one also that is kind of special because we thought this one was a male for so long, and when it molted a female, it was pretty exciting. So this is another one that's in consideration for that enclosure. It does like to hide, so you know, this hide would be perfect to basically bury from side to side, and then, you know, put dirt over top of it so that she could climb on top of it and be underneath it and do what she wanted to do. So this is another one that's under consideration for that 12 by 12 by 12. Okay, so the next one up that I'm considering is my Brachypelma amelia. This one also is a male, so won't get huge, probably maybe 4 inches, a little bit more as a male. So he's not going to be extremely big in that enclosure. So he'd have a lot of room to move, and we could really set it up kind of cool for him. But again, another male. So it's, you know, do we want to use this for males, or do we want to use this for confirmed females that we're going to have for an extended period of time? So he's another one that we're considering. Okay, so without dragging everybody out, we also have the Brachypelma bamei male. We also have the Brachypelma albiceps male. We have the Nandu, or not Nandu, Acanthoscuria geniculata, but I'm not really quite sure I want to put this one in there, because it would definitely have to come out of there at a certain point, because it would be too big to stay in there for good. We also have what you are going to see is the Davus penaloris female, which would probably be pretty cool inside there. We also have my female Brachypelma homori, Constance, but she's going to be a good sized thick spider, so I'm not really quite sure that that's the best enclosure for her, but we could put her in there. Other things, other animals, or other other ones to consider. What am I looking at over here now? We have the Stichoplastores species Nicaragua. We have Brachypelma albopilosum nicaraguan male, but I think I know what I'm going to do with him, so I don't really think that he's going to be considered. I thought about some of the Asian or African species, like the Stratojarus darlingi that's in here, but I don't think she really needs anything that large, to be honest with you. And getting that substrate depth the right way with her might be a little bit more difficult, but it is doable. So it would be probably a cool spider to put in there. If my Ephebopus rufescens would be bigger, I probably would just go ahead and put that one in there, especially if it was a female. What else do we have? We have the Chilobrachys huikini, but I really don't think that that's what I want to put in there. I think that's it, really, to be honest with you. I thought about moving Cheeto in there so that she was more visible through the glass, but she's set up shop in her new home, and I don't really want to move her again. Female OBT is over there. Also, we could have put the Emperor Scorpions, another one that I consider putting in there. That would be kind of cool to set the Emperor Scorpion in there, but the problem is that that dude never eats, so he's kind of boring. The Hottentotta Scorpion, another one back there. Well, it'd be in that enclosure there. That's another one that, you know, you could consider putting in there, but another one that really doesn't do much. So, and I'm not really quite sure that I want to put a level 4 Scorpion in a front opening enclosure. That probably isn't the best idea. I mean, I could work from the top and not open the doors, but I think I'd really like to put a nice terrestrial in there, something New World. If my Harpactira poker piece was bigger and a female, that would probably be a real consideration, sticking her in there. But unfortunately, we don't know, and she's still small. Well, we don't know if it's she, and it's still small. So, what do you guys think? What else do we have up there? Oh, we have the Grammostola species North. Also, that could go in there, and the Grammostola species quote-unquote Mall. That could go in there. Those are two definite spiders that could also go in there. So, there's a lot of things that we could do in there, and I didn't show them all, so you guys are probably going to pick one that I showed versus one that I didn't, but I get it. I also considered the Ornithoctone species Laos female. I just don't know. You know, she's so damn fast. I just don't know that I want her in a front opening type of enclosure. So those are pretty much what we have that can go in there. So while you guys ponder that, we're going to do a couple updates. So the first tarantula that we're going to update that molted is my little Brachypelma hamori. This is Milagro. Again, you've probably heard the story, but if you haven't, this one came in from NetBugs. Thought for sure it was dead. Put it in some damp substrate, went to work, came home, and it was crawling around. I mean, this thing it didn't move at all. I mean, not one bit when I got it out of the packaging. I thought for sure it was dead. So we thought it was a little miracle that it made it, so this is why we called it Milagro, which is Spanish for miracle. And the name was given to me by a friend of mine. I don't really talk to you too much anymore, but she's still out there. So this one, she molted perfectly fine. Honestly, I have no idea what sex we're looking at all. I honestly don't know. The molt was so small, and I kind of looked, but there wasn't anything that would lead me to believe either way. So we're just going to call it unsexed and unknown. Probably be another 6-8 months before it molts again, but hopefully at that point we'll be able to tell a little bit more. Now we have the large female and we have the young adult male. So whichever one this one turns out to be, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it would be great to have a female. Obi was a slow sling, but it'd be nice to raise a female Brachypelma from a sling size. That would be kind of cool, because I haven't done that yet. My Brachypelma vagans is a female, but I didn't get that one as a sling. It was a larger sling, I guess you call it, small juvenile, little over 1 3/4 when I got it. So same with my Alba pelosum, she was full size. So trying to actually raise a couple of these that were slings to be females would be kind of nice for me. So that's one of them that molted. Okay, here's the second one. This is another shy one, but actually molted about a week and a half ago. I fed it yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, so it took it. So this is the Brachypelma baumgarteni. Now this one did have a little bit of what I would believe to be the structure of a uterus externus. So I'm really kind of crossing my fingers that this one's a female, because my Bamie's a male and they kind of look quite similar. So I'd be happy to have a female Baumgarteni, as well as my little tiny Classy. Those are the ones that I'm kind of really hoping, are female. This one, this little Smithy, little Homori, not Smithy, and my Brachypelma Classy. I'd love for my Shorderi to fool me and end up being a female, but I don't really think that's going to happen. So those two molted. We have another one, and then we'll update the mature male OBT, who's just a nut job, and we'll finish with Norman, so you guys can see what's going on with him. Okay, so in this enclosure is my Pamphobedius antenaeus. Now, this is going to be a black tarantula, but right now it's not. It's more of a gray. You'll see it's going to come out now. It was doing yoga just a little bit ago. It was laying on the dampened spot right there. I kind of dampened this one spot and really overflowed its water dish so it had some water. But it does have some red hair on its abdomen, which I don't believe that an Antinnaeus would actually have. So I'm curious to see what happens, you know, in the upcoming molts if it does turn to the black color. And these colors that it has right now are going to fade into that, which is very, very possible. It looks just, you know, I mean, the structure of the little guy itself looks definitely Pamphobetes. Again, this is these ones are from Peru, I believe. They're not from Ecuador, where they have the Christmas tree pattern on them. Again, this one's going to be completely black, so we'll see what it turns out to be. But this was one of the gifts that was sent to me from Pulp Friction, so I'm pretty excited that it made it through the molt because my last one died in the molt. That's why this one ended up coming here. So yeah, that one molted, seems to be perfectly fine. This one molted like 2 days ago, so it's still kind of soft. So let's take a look at that nut job OBT. This is all he's doing. This is all he's been doing. He did a little webbing, not too much, but a tiny bit over in the back corner there. And the thickness of the web actually looks like he may have sperm webbed back there and then ripped it down. So my female was out last night, which is a good sign. So we're going to feed her today. I'm going to feed her today and then probably feed her again in another 3 or 4 days. And then we're going to let them do their thing. I know he's eager and anticipating it and he's ready to go. But it's all he's really doing. He just kind of crawls around, then he'll jump off and land on the dirt, run around for a little bit, rest for a second or two, and then crawl around. And that's the problem with mature males. When they start doing this, they wear themselves out because they don't eat, they're not drinking water, so it tends to be a pain. Now, because he's been this active, I haven't had an opportunity to get a water dish in there yet, because he hasn't allowed me. Every time I try to pop that lid, whichever side that I start to slide back is the side that he runs to. So it's going to be interesting getting him back out of here, which we can do in this. That's no big deal. We'll get him in here. I mean, you can see he'll fit in there without any problem. We'll get him into that, and then we'll put him in the female's enclosure and hope for the best. So that's him. So let's end with Norman, because I know a lot of people are, you know, worried about the little guy and how he's doing, and a lot of people have been asking, and I want to wait a few days, give him some time to relax before we look in on him and show everybody how he's doing. So let's do that right now. So you could see he just kind of hangs out. He kind of moves around, but I haven't seen him move again. I mean, I said this the other day, I've yet to see him actually move. I don't want to force him to move. I would like to see his actual movements, how he's doing without that leg, and if those back legs are actually, I mean, they look better now because before they were just kind of like straight back, and he was just kind of dragging them. So having them bent like that and up is probably a good sign. But again, he's not the same Norman. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, it's going to be hit or miss, really, if he actually makes it through this, because we don't know. So what I'm going to do here is we're just going to kind of maybe see. We'll test him a little bit and see if he'll just move for us. Come on, I want to see those back legs, buddy. Come on. So, I mean, looking at him, he looks to be crawling okay. So hopefully, you know, whatever happened, and, you know, those first couple days that I thought were really dire, to be honest with you, I didn't think that he was going to be okay at all. Now, he got much leggier than he was before. There's no doubt about that, even though he's missing one. But he does seem to be doing okay. So the next test is going to be when we feed him, if he can eat. He has been in the water a lot. I filled that dish up like 3 or 4 times now. So he does go over there and hang out, and he will lay in that wet spot that you see right there next to the water dish. And I put the dish at an angle specifically for him to be able to get into it easier, because it is against a little slope there in the terrain. So again, we're just going to have to play it by ear and see how he does and see how he copes, and how he gets along. So that's really it for this video. Again, let me know what you guys think about 12 by 12 by 12. And, I mean, tell me why you think what you think, you know, what tarantula you pick. That would kind of be interesting, too, instead of just saying, oh, well, you know, pick Obi, or, you know, pick Miko, or, oh, there's also, I forgot the name, Grammostola pulchripes, also female. But another one that probably will outgrow this pretty quickly. So, I really would prefer to whoever I put in there that's going to be the last home that they have. So kind of keep that in consideration. But I'm going to do a poll also on a couple of groups and see what people think there. I really would like to try one of these with a African species, and even an Asian species. So maybe a Chilobrachys, or it'd probably be something nice for the Chilobrachys species electric blue, kind of show that off, especially if we get a female. And there's a lot of other tarantulas that I'd love to put in there, like my Megapoboma messamasalis. That one I would love to have a female in something like this, maybe even just a bit wider. If you can get like a 12 by 12 by 18, or 12 by 12 by 16, something that's just a handful of inches longer, but the same height and same width. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope a lot of you guys went and checked out Arachnids Addicted. I know that he said that there's been some traffic from that video to that page, so I'm glad you guys at least gave them a chance. Go check them out. They said they have a giveaway coming up. You guys went and saw that, and he's already talking about something different for next month too. So go check them out, and you know, not only them, go check out Pulp Friction and Fear Not Tarantulas and Adam Erickson, and I don't know what Vlad's got for sale there at Vikings Inverts, I think his name is, and Kelly Swift at Swift Inverts. There's so many of them that are selling stuff right now. So go check everybody out, and don't forget to come and join us at the Tarantula community. We'd love to have everybody. It's a great group, very, very laid back, very, very informative, place that you could go that you don't have to feel pressured as a new keeper to ask questions. And you could even ask people that are new members there how their experience has been there. So go check that out, and we'll see everybody in the next video. So happy keeping.